these guys who race Mulholland, they're very hard to catch. If you're in a police car, it's impossible to catch the racers. They're going way too fast. They know the road too well, which is why racing went on until finally they just had to shut the road down. There was no other way to stop the racing. So all the signs went up. There's one there, no stopping, 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. Originally it said dusk till dawn. So that's how they stopped the racing on Mulholland. I would go out on the weekends with my guy friends, and we'd go up to Mulholland, of course, and we'd race along Mulholland, and I wasn't even aware of the huge groups that would hang out at the race course, which is between Skyline and Coldwater, because I wasn't a part of that scene, really. I would pass by there, and people would pull out and chase me, and I basically smoked everyone there, because I'm in a 911S, and I've been driving Mulholland since I was 12, so it wasn't really a big challenge. Until one night. We're coming back from Skyline, back west towards my house. I'm coming towards grandstands. By the way, all the turns on Mulholland are named, and the places where people hang out are named. Well, I'm passing grandstands, I'm slowed down now. And then, right by my right-hand window, comes this GMC pickup truck, this old beater with no headlights on. Now, I didn't know he was a legend of Mulholland at this time. Okay, this guy was legendary, and he passes me going pretty fast, and I'm thinking, oh my God, I gotta catch this guy and spank him. So we get past Coldwater, and I'm thinking, I can't pass this person because he's driving on Mulholland as if there's no double yellow and the whole street is his, and he owns it. After Coldwater, there's a long straightaway that goes down and back up again. It's called European Straight. It took the entire length of European Straight for me to walk by him, and I found out later that that was the legend of Mulholland, actually. At that point, I realized, you know something, if I'm in my 911S and I'm racing Charlie in his Corvette, well, I'm gonna look pretty bad. So I said, you know, I need to build a car specifically made for Mulholland Drive. So, when I was preparing to build this car for Mulholland, I really felt like I needed advice from the Porsche factory. And I was given a letter of introduction. And so I went by myself and I flew to Heathrow in London, across the channel to Amsterdam. And in Amsterdam, I met this old guy, and he had a Volkswagen for sale, a little blue VW Beetle. And I said, well, you know, I think I'd rather drive a Beetle to Stuttgart instead of taking the train. And so here I am in this little Volkswagen, driving like this down to Stuttgart, right? And I think I'm going so fast at 120 kilometers per hour. Of course, it's just kilometers per hour. And I get down to Stuttgart, and I called the Porsche factory, and I went there the next day, and I met someone named Frau Baer. And she took me practically by the hand into the racework where they're building 917s, and there was 910s and 908s and all these crazy, crazy cars in there. And I'm just starstruck at all this incredible machinery. Well, in the middle of the racework, there's a vault that's like a square building in the middle, right in the center, with almost like a bank vault door on it. And I go, I wonder what this is. And she says, we need to go in here. I said, okay. And I told her I was building a race car to race Mulholland. I said, this car has to be able to take extreme bumps, short straightaways with tight turns. So she takes me into this room, opens the vault door, and inside are storage racks lined up, one after the next. Porsche research that they've been doing for years, stuff from the 60s. I mean, incredible research that Porsche paid a lot of money to make. And there's stacks of these things. And she goes, und you need this one, und you need this one, und this one, und this one. She gives me 6 of these things. She gives me an actual RSR owner's manual. Okay, I still have this stuff. I was like stunned, okay? And a lot of it was in German. But I had taken German at Valley College in preparation for this, so I had a fundamental knowledge of German. So she gives me all this information. She says, with this, you can make your racer. I got back in my little Volkswagen, drove back to Amsterdam, sold the car back to the guy that I bought it from for almost the same price, and then came home. And with that material, I was able to build this Mulholland race car, so I felt quite fortunate at that point. This car is actually composed of 4 different cars. It's primarily a 1972 911S. I wanted the car to look like a 76 Turbo Carrera. You had to have the big bumpers on the car, short hood instead of a long hood, and the fender protectors on the back. It's from a 930. Because the roofline has lowered the car 3.5 inches, which means that these frames had to be lowered. These had to be custom bent so that it would accommodate the lower roofline. Rear windows now flush instead of being set down like all the 911s to make the airflow smoother over the top. The engine is a 2.8 liter RSR motor. It has original Porsche RSR pistons and cylinders, 11-to-1 compression. You see, Mulholland Drive, it's got a lot of very short radius turns and short straightaways for the most part, and imperfections on the road that you wouldn't find on a professional race course. So that requires to have a suspension that's almost what we call a sprint suspension, where the car is designed more for sprinting than for, let's say, you wouldn't want to take it on a cannonball run where you go across the US or something like that. This is not meant for that. This is meant for, specifically meant for Mulholland Drive. You need a car that's very forgiving, a car that'll handle all those bumps and off-camber turns. There really is only one car to race Mulholland in. I could have picked any car. Only a Porsche would work. There is no substitute for a Porsche. My name is Banning, Chris Banning, and I built this car behind me to specifically race Mulholland Drive. I am a builder, I am a racer, and I am Porsche.